Hey guys, Brian delivers you the goods here. I'm returning to you this mid-afternoon for a movie review again for another 2023 film that we're on the second to last film that I'm reviewing. And then I think the next one's called Paint that I'm going to be reviewing, and that's it for that. But other than that, this is for Anyone But You, movie that I got a chance to check out for myself to see what I was going to think of this movie overall. So it stars Sydney Sweeney and Glenn Powell. So I'm going to discuss what I watched for this movie overall and let you know my thoughts on this movie as a whole. So let's dive into this movie review now. Going into this movie, I was very disappointed with this film. I mean, the writing for this kind of was a little redundant and not very good. Sydney Sweeney is a great actress, but I think she's being over-sexualized a bit, in a way. And they're putting her into some movies that are not so great. I mean, this movie's probably better than Madam Web, from what I hear. A little better, but not great in any way. Still a disappointing effort for this movie. Movie has something going for it with the story, but the execution is the thing. Because Sydney Sweeney meets a guy, Ben, Glenn Powell's character, and her name's Beatrice. So basically, they meet for the first time, and then she basically asks, "Are you gonna ask me out?" kind of way. And honestly, like I said, what I've seen with this movie, the final product is not very good. It tried, but it was a total dud. I mean, Sydney Sweeney can act a bit, but the problem is she oversells herself with this movie and with her performance. And it just seems like she's trying a little too hard, a little try hard of a movie, but I think Glenn Powell had some cringy moments during this movie too. I almost said moment during this movie as well. But I wouldn't say his performance was all that bad. But it wasn't. It was kind of mid. So with Sydney Sweeney's performance, I think it almost kind of sucked in a way. But overall, certain performances weren't bad, but Sydney Sweeney didn't really make a overlapping impression on me in a good way. But the story itself kind of just felt like a dud. Like, it's easily forgettable. So, if I overall, from what I watched of this movie, this is a thumbs down for sure. I was highly disappointed with this film, and I think they could have done a lot better with this movie. So, if I were to give this movie an overall score, I'm going to have to give it a 5 out of 10. This movie sucks big time. I mean, the story had it going for a bit with what it was trying to do, but it is just basically Ben fucks up Glenn Powell's character. At first, he fucks up, and then he fucks up again, and then they finally get together at the very end of the movie, and it's like, finally. I'm like, this movie could have been like an hour or something like that, but honestly, the final product was crap. I was highly disappointed with this movie. I was wishing this wouldn't have been too terrible, but honestly, Sydney Sweeney is a little too overrated in my opinion. I don't hate her as an actress, but I just think she's kind of overwhelming and overrated of an actress to really watch her films. The TV show Euphoria she was from, but apparently her performance was overly overwhelming in a way, and not in a good way. But honestly, I think the movie's execution could have been a lot better if it could have been worked on a bit. Like the script, basically. But it's just a forgettable movie, so 5 out of 10 for Anyone But You. This movie sucked big time. I don't recommend you watch it. It's a waste of time for an hour and 43 minutes. And with that being said, thanks for watching this movie review today.